A very good morning to all of you. In this class, I am going to start with another important topic of chapter, excretive products and their elimination. In this chapter, I am going to discuss about the structure of nephron or how the reabsorption takes place. Structure of nephron. Or structure of nephron. Uh, in the structure of nephron, there are different parts. A cup-shaped structure continue into the tubule-like structure. Now, here is nephron. Or the afferent and efferent arteriole. From the afferent arteriole, the blood enter into the nephron for purification and for the filtration, or simply through the afferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole or artery, the blood enter into the Gloom-Albumin capsule artery, and here is efferent artery. Efferent artery or efferent artery continue into the vasa recta or continue in capillary called vasa recta, which covers loop of Henle in the U-shaped manner. So here is loop of Henle is covered by the vasa recta. Vasa continue into the vasa recta. Now, here is a cup-like structure of nephron is known as Bowman capsule. Bowman's capsule, cup-like structure which is known as Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule continue into the tubular structure. That tubular structure is known as proximal convoluted tubule, proximal convoluted tubule, and proximal convoluted tubule continue into the loop of Henle. Loop of Henle. Now this is the ascending part of loop of Henle and descending part of loop of Henle, and here is ascending part of loop of Henle. This one is descending part of loop of Henle. Descending part of loop of Henle. And descending part of loop of Henle, and this one is ascending part of loop of Henle. Loop of Henle. Loop of Henle. And this ascending part of loop of Henle continue into the distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule. Now, these are the part of nephron. Now, all the parts have their distinct feature or distinct characteristic, like reabsorption of nutrients, reabsorption of electrolytes, glucose, amino acid, and secretion of proton, and secretion of urea takes place into the nephron. Now each part have their characteristic feature. The here glomerulus capillary, glomerular capillaries forms the glomerulus and the Bowman capsule, collectively known as Malpighian body. Malpighian body, which is formed by glomerulus and Bowman capsule. Capsule, which is a cup-like structure. Now, first, all the nutrients or the content of plasma except protein drain into the Bowman glomerular capillaries. When all the nutrients present in plasma or plasma part drain into glomerular capillaries through the podocyte cell. Here is podocyte cell, which is present in the membrane of or epithelial membrane of the nephron. So these through these podocytes, all the content of plasma enter into the Bowman capsule, or through the Bowman capsule it passes into the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, or through the proximal convoluted tubule all the nutrients absorb all the nutrients, that means glucose, amino acid, bicarbonate, ion absorbed, and sodium chloride also absorbed by the through PCT part, proximal convoluted tubule, and approximately 99% of water get reabsorbed in the PCT part. So PCT part. Now I have to remove all these one because I am going to write the components which are absorbed in PCT part, proximal convoluted tubule part. Now, in the PCT part, the proximal convolute through the proximal convoluted tubule, first the water will reabsorb, about 99% of water molecule reabsorb from the PCT part. Then sodium chloride also reabsorb, sodium ion and potassium ion also reabsorb. Now the glucose molecule reabsorb, and amino acid also reabsorb from the PCT part or PCT part. Amino acid, bicarbonate ion या carbonic acid, HCO3 minus. So this reabsorb by the PCT part, proximal convoluted tubule. Now secretion of again the H plus ion secrete into the potassium ion secrete into the proximal convoluted tubule. So all such kind of function takes place by the PCT part, proximal convoluted tubule part. Now next is secretion again in DCT part. Descending part of loop of Henle is permeable for water, so water is also reabsorbed by the descending part of loop of Henle, whereas ascending part of loop of Henle, this is impermeable. This section is or part is impermeable for water, so only sodium chloride will absorb by the segment. Now another the fluid continue into the DCT part, distal convoluted tubule, where the water will reabsorb the sodium chloride also reabsorb, and the H plus ion, secretion of H plus ion into the nephron, and potassium ion into the nephron. Some amount of urea is also reabsorbed by the collecting duct. Now the urea or the fluid converted into the urine into the collecting duct or into the collecting duct or renal tubules, last of the renal end of the renal tubule. So this is the overall function of nephron, what we have discussed in the section. What are the nutrients reabsorbed during the process, how the urine formation occur through the nephron. First we have to understand that blood, the purification of blood takes place in the kidney, where the toxic material removed through the nephron, or how the toxic material removed through the nephron, or nitrogenous waste removed through the nephron. First the blood entered through the afferent arteriole, which is quite wider than the efferent arteriole, or all the blood constituent enter into the glomerulus. Except the protein part, all the plasma part drain into the Bowman capsule through the podocyte cell. Or podocyte cell have the specific diameter which allow only the specific molecule into the Bowman's capsule. Now all the constituent of plasma enter into the Bowman capsule. From the plasma, most of the important constituents like sodium chloride, glucose, amino acid, bicarbonate, iron and water to reabsorb by the PCT part, proximal convoluted tubule. Then the fluid pass into the descending part of loop of Henle, where the descending part of loop of Henle is impermeable for sodium chloride, and this part is permeable for the water. So that's why the water is reabsorbed by the DCT by the descending part of the loop of Henle, or through the ascending part of loop of Henle. The characteristic nature of ascending part of loop of Henle, that is, this part is impermeable for water and permeable for sodium chloride, but only allows sodium reabsorption of sodium chloride by the passive transport. Here all such molecules reabsorb through the passive transport, but the absorption of sodium chloride done by the active transport only through the by the use of ATP molecule. By the active transport, the sodium chloride reabsorbed in the ascending part of loop of Henle. Through the ascending part of loop of Henle, the fluid continue into the distal convoluted tubule. From the distal convoluted tubule, the water, sodium chloride again reabsorb, but that is the reabsorption of water done through with the help of ADH hormone. So the hormonal regulation of water molecule done by the pituitary gland. The posterior part of pituitary gland secrete hormone which function as signaling molecule that signals the DCT part, that the formation of aquaporins. Aquaporins are protein which opens the water channels. Through the water channels, all the during the emergency time or during when the dehydration occur in such patient, the vasopressin or ADH hormones secrete from the posterior pituitary gland, which act on the distal part of tubules or function as signaling molecule, bind with the receptor present on the epithelial cell of the membrane, nephron, that initiate internal signaling, or through the internal signaling the protein gets synthesized, and this protein are known as aquaporins. Aquaporins opens the water channels, or through the water channels the water reabsorb from the DCT part of the loop, DCT part of the nephron into the interstitium of fluid. Now water get reabsorbed, sodium get also reabsorbed, but some of the proton which make urine more acidic, or which if they are not secreted by our body, so that the pH of our body may decrease in the presence of protons. So that's why for maintaining our pH, the H plus also secreted into the DCT part from the interstitium. Now all the fluid passes into the collecting duct, where again the reabsorption of water and urea carried out by this part. So water, again reabsorption of water and urea too done by this part. Now let us discuss about the counter current mechanism. What is counter current mechanism? Counter current mechanism is simply takes place in between the loop of Henle and the vasa recta. the counter current mechanism carried out in between loop of Henle and vasa recta. Here is vasa recta. Vasa recta. Now let us discuss about the function of counter current mechanism. What is counter current mechanism? Counter current mechanism is a function which play in between the vasa recta and the loop of Henle. Here is descending part of loop of Henle and the ascending part of continue into the ascending part of loop of Henle, or the U-shaped capillary is known as vasa recta. So first we discuss that the water is reabsorbed by the ascending part of loop of Henle. So it transfer into the interstitium from the interstitium it passes, the water molecule passes into the vasa recta. Here is vasa recta. So the blood flow into the vasa recta in the direction opposite to the loop of Henle. Opposite to the loop of Henle. If in the loop of Henle the blood flow from left to right, so in the vasa recta the blood flow from right to left. So now from right to left. If loop in the descending of the direction of fluid in the descending part of loop of Henle is from up to down, so in the vasa recta down the blood flow from down to upward, and here the secretion of water molecule or the reabsorption of water molecule takes place from the descending part of loop of Henle or into the vasa recta. The reabsorption is done in the direction opposite to the loop of Henle, where the water molecule again transfer into the blood. Here is again the sodium chloride reabsorbed by the ascending part of loop of Henle, but in the blood or in the vasa recta, from interstitium to the vasa recta, the sodium chloride again reabsorbed. So from the ascending part of loop of Henle, the sodium chloride reabsorbed or transfer into the interstitium, or from the interstitium the sodium chloride again pass into the blood capillaries. Sodium chloride, blood capillaries. So that's why this is the process which is known as counter current mechanism. In the counter current mechanism, the direction of the blood flow into the vasa recta is opposite to the direction of fluid flow into the loop of Henle, where in the descending part of loop of Henle the fluid flow from upward to the downward, where in vasa recta which is present near the part of vasa recta which is present near the descending part of loop of Henle. In this part the blood flow from down to upward, Now, where the water molecule reabsorbed by the descending part of loop of Henle into the interstitium, and from the interstitium this water molecule again reabsorbed by or transferred into the blood capillary vasa recta. Here in the ascending part of loop of Henle, the ascending part of loop of Henle is impermeable for water, but sodium chloride reabsorbed through the active transport into the interstitium. From the interstitium it is again reabsorbed by the vasa recta or transferred into the blood capillary. So this is the process which is known as countercurrent mechanism. So student, I hope you like this video, or you have I hope you like this video, or if any doubt or if any questions, so ask me on WhatsApp. So thank you so much for listening and watching me.